In this anime, we are told about a game. It is a kind of virtual game. Within this game, they get a lot of supporting characters so that they can form an advanced team of their own. In this game, players can choose which character they want to play. In this game, people could also earn a lot of money which they used to trade. But one day, due to some bugs in the game, something went wrong and people got stuck inside the game. And those who are dying inside this game are also being killed in their real world. Then we see an anime character, Shin, that's fighting some monster. Sin has thought that he will finish this game and send everyone back to his real world, so Sin left all his supporting characters and went on alone to finish the game. Sean is fighting the boss of a dungeon. After finishing it, you can exit the game. The monster is very strong, and as soon as Sin attacked him, he injured him. He heals himself with his magic. Then Sin attacks the monster with his strong attack and destroys it. After which Sean opens his status and sees there is an option to log out, after which all the players start logging out of the game. Then Sin starts to see the names of all the players who are out of this game. After all the players leave, only Sin is left. Then as soon as Sean is going to click on the people out, he is told about a new mission, and Sin clicks on it, so that Sin comes to another world and Sin feels that world is absolutely real. But as soon as he checks his status, he realizes that his power level has increased a lot. Seeing this, Sean starts thinking that maybe his level has increased after defeating that boss. Then as soon as Sen was going to log out of the game, the option to log out of the game disappears. After this, Sean goes to the house in the forest where he lived with all his supporting characters. There are some boys out there harassing a girl and asking her to go with them. That girl is refusing them and telling that if she goes out of that barrier, she will be in danger. But those boys are not listening to her and take her out of that barrier with them. As soon as they go out of the barrier, a big monster comes there, seeing which all the boys get very scared. Then the monster was going to attack the girl, but Sin saved the girl by eliminating the monster. Sin sees that her power has increased a lot, after which the girl says, "Thank you" to Sin. She then tells Sin her name is Tiara. Sin asks her about the owner here, to which Tiara says that her master's name is Riser and he is not here. Sin is shocked to hear Riser's name and asks Tiara if Riser is a high elf, which is very beautiful in appearance, and it starts taking more information about the Riser from the Tiara. Seeing which Tiara finds Sean a little strange, then she tells Sean that she cannot tell a stranger about her master because the boys who were outside were also asking about his master. If you want to send a message, send it, because the job of the Tiara is to see this shop and send a message to the master, but for this 1,000 jewels will have to be paid. Hearing this, Sin pulls out a gold coin and tells Tiara that I have only 1 Zane right now. Tiara is very surprised to see that gold coin and asks Sin how you came to have this genie because this genie is very rare, which is why it is only with the royals. Sin tells Tiara that he got this coin from his magic box because his status is very high. Then she says it can't happen because the high humans are completely gone. Sean is shocked to hear this and begins to ask Tiara how the high humans can end. Tiara then tells Sean that a lot of royals and high humans disappeared here 500 years ago. After listening to Jisei, Sean starts thinking that when he defeated the boss of the game, all the people had logged out of the game, due to which all the humans here disappeared and went to their real world, on which Sin tells Tiara that now this gold coin is yours. Tiara becomes very happy to hear this. And it looks like that gold coin Sin then asks Tiara, "What are you doing in this forest?" To which Tiara tells Sin that she is a black elf, and her hair color is also black. Here the black elf talks about a kind of curse energy. Because of the bad luck that is always on him, he was thrown out of town. But his master helped him and brought him with him to the store. They made a barrier here, due to which no one can come near the monster Tiara, after listening to which Sean starts thinking that the monster might have attacked him because of the curse of the Tiara. Sen then asks Tiara if there is no way to remove this curse energy, to which Tiara tells Sean that her master is still researching on this to remove this curse, so he has asked me to stay inside the barrier here so that I can be safe. Sun then asks Tiara if her hair was always black, to which Tiara explains that her hair was not always black. First, her hair was silver, and one day she got cursed and all her hair became black, after which Sin checks it in his system and analyzes Tiara. Sean then tells Tiara about her curse and tells her that this curse can be removed. After that, Sean tries to remove the curse using his magic, after which Tiara asks Sean if his magic is not working on him. Sin tells Tiara that only some of her hair has turned silver. Tiara is very happy to see this, because after 100 years she saw her silver hair, and then she says thank you to Sin for this. After hearing this, Sin tells Tiara that we should go out and check whether your curse has gone or not. Then both she and Tiara go outside the barrier to see the curse, but Tiara is afraid to go out of the barrier. Sin then tells Tiara that he will protect her from all the monsters, so she has nothing to fear and they go into the forest together. After coming a long way, they see that no monster has attacked them. Tiara had seen the sky after many years and she was very happy to see it, after which they both go back home and Tiara asks Sean, "What are you going to do next?" Sin tells Tiara that he will go to the kingdom around here so that he can find more of his supporting characters here. Tia then gives Sun a letter and tells him that it will help you get into the kingdom. Tiara thanks Sin for helping her and tells her that she will tell them about it when her master comes here. After that, Sin goes to the kingdom, where Sean sees that many people outside the kingdom were in line to get in. All of them were being checked and allowed in, and Sin had a letter from Tiara, with the help of which he could easily get into the kingdom. Then Sin is told that here this letter acts as a kind of pass, and with its help, you can also talk to King directly. After listening to Hise, Sean begins to wonder how Tiara could have such a thing. The guard then asks Sin to go to the Adventure Guild there, after which Sin goes to the Adventure Guild and says that he should do his research from this Adventure Guild. Then he comes to the caption inside the guild, and the girl tells Sin that you have to go to the second floor to register your name, after which Sin comes to the second floor and there also sees the same girl who is at the reception below. The girl then tells Sean that she has an elder sister on the first floor. Her name is Salika, and she tells Sin that they are twin sisters. She then gives Sin a registration form and asks him to fill it, after which Sin sits there and thinks that it is going to take him a whole day to get the guild name registered. That's when Celica brings lunch for Sin, and Sin asks her, "You do this here too?" Celica tells Sean that when she is free here, she also works as a waitress here. Then he sits down and starts talking to Sean. Celica asks Sean about his letter. She tells Sun that we have to check your letter and verify it, to which Sin agrees and tells Celica that I have to meet the guild master here now. Celica then tells Sin that the guild master is here right now, after which Sin sees a man behind him standing with Celica at the reception. Then they both go to a room. The guild master tells Sin his name, and Sin tells him his name, and then Sin shows him his letter. After what Tiara gave them, Varley takes out his letter and puts it next to Sin's letter, causing Sin's letter to glow. Sin is very surprised to see this and asks Varley about it. Varley tells Sin that this letter is true, and with the help of this, Sin can go to any guild and even meet Sin King with the help of this letter. Hearing this, Sin starts thinking that Riser has achieved a lot, so the value of his letter is very high. Varley then tells Sin that some people can use this letter badly, so he tells Sin that you burn this letter so that no one can use it wrong. Then he tells the guild master that I will protect this letter, because this letter has been given to me by Tiara and she trusts me, so I cannot break her trust. Warley is delighted to hear from Sean and tells him that this is what I expected from you. Then Sean sleeps in his room at night and changes his clothes the next day and comes to Celica. Celica looks at Sean and asks him why he changed his clothes, on which Sin says that he is feeling very comfortable in these clothes and he is able to move well in them. Celica then gives Sin his guild card and tells him that your rank right now is G, and tells Sin one of the strongest SS ranks, and S is the rank. After that, Sin goes to his first job quest and has to collect some herbs. Celica looks at Sin, and she feels that Sin is not strong, but the guild master has chosen her himself, so maybe there will be something special in it. Then Sin starts to collect herbs in the forest. Then he sees a monster there who has destroyed a wagon. That monster is very strong. Then Sin starts to remember the people sitting in the guild. All those people are also talking about this monster. Then Sin starts to fight the monster, but that monster is very strong. That monster has a secret sword, seeing which Sin does not understand how a monster can have a secret sword. Then he starts to attack the monster, but Sin's sword starts to break, seeing which he uses his power and destroys the core of the monster in one attack. After the end of the monster, Sean thinks that he has become very powerful, after which the monster disappears from there and Sin's sword falls into a castle. The guards come in and are surprised to see the sword that Sean has thrown, and she asks her guard to find out about this sword, after which the guard goes to find out about it. Then Lady Rio begins to think that whoever has thrown this sword must be very powerful. Then we see Sin, who is walking in the town. Then he sees a lot of people upset there, after which Sean goes to them, and he sees that some guards have been injured very badly. Then Sin asks about this to another guard. He tells guard Sin that they have all been attacked by a skull-face monster, so that their situation has become such that there were a total of 12 people in the forest. But only 4 people could somehow escape. After hearing that, Sean thinks that the courage he saw in the forest will probably be related to it. The guard then tells Sean that a sword from the forest flew into the castle, but it didn't hurt anyone. Hearing this, Sean starts to panic a little, because the sword was thrown by Sean himself. Then the guard asks Sean about it if he knows. To which Sean tells that he had gone to the forest to get some grass, so he does not know anything about all these things. Then the guard tells Sean that if you know anything related to this, then tell me. After saying this, the guard leaves from there. Here, Sean also starts going towards the guild, and he is happy to think that no one was hurt because of him. Then Sean comes to Celica, and seeing a lot of people in the guild, Sean asks Celica if they are all here because of the skull face, to which Celica tells Sean. It turns out that he is in the vicinity of the skull face kingdom. That's why everyone came here to find him. Then Celica asks her, "Why are you here?" To which Sean pulls out a crystal and tells Celica that I have defeated the skull face Jack, so that I got this crystal. Oh, but my sword also broke while fighting, and Celica is very surprised to hear this. Then she comes to Sun and tells him how you can defeat that skull-face Jack because your rank is very low right now. And then there's a girl named Elise. Elise tells Sean that she works with Celica in the guild. Celica then tells Elise that Sean has defeated Skull-Face Jack, to Elise's surprise. Then Sean tells him that he is telling the truth, but he cannot prove it, because the monster did not have so many rare items that he could bring with him. Alice explains that you must be rank B to bring the Skull-Face Jack's gear. Then she asks Celica to check the crystal, after which Celica goes to check the crystal. The Sun then asks Alice about these Jacks, to which Alice explains that these monsters are born when humans die. And because of the negative power inside it, these monsters are born. At this time, these monsters have become very much in the forest of the north, due to which many people have been killed there. Then Elle tells Sean that there is not much mana power in the forest, due to which very few Skullface Jacks are seen there. After which Sean tells them that the level of Jack he fought was above 300, after which both Celica and Alice are very surprised. Alice then asks Sean the level of the Jack, on which Sean tells that he fought the Skullface Jack with the 305th 9 level. Then Alice asks Celica to find out the power inside that jam, because the power inside the jam can be found out the power of that Skullface Jack, and it will also tell us its level, after which Celica goes in with that jam. Then Sean asks Alice if you can find out about the monster with the help of that jam. Alice tells Sean that if the level of the monster is 359 as you told, so that means you alone are as strong as the A-rank group. Sean then tells Elise to keep it a secret from everyone, because he didn't want people to know about it, so they wouldn't focus on Sean. Alice understands Sean's point and tells him that she will not tell anyone about this. After this, Sean goes to the restaurant where Celica asks Sean if he can share his table with anyone, to which Sin agrees and says that he is also very tired of being alone. Then another man starts coming inside the restaurant, which everyone is very surprised to see, and they all have their eyes on him. Then that man comes and sits near Sin, and Sin starts seeing his weapon. The spear is a legendary weapon that is very difficult to find. Then the man tells Sin his name is Vivis and apologizes to Sin that he has to share his table with him, to which Sean tells Viv that he has no problem with it. Sin sees Vivis's level, which is 188. Then Avi asks Sin that you are new here, to which Sin says that I have been here for 3 days, after listening to which Avi tells Sin that he does not know much about you. Avi then tells Sin about his spear, named Venom. Avus explains that his weapon Venom has such power that it absorbs mana so that the monster cannot use its power. After that, Celica comes there with food for both of them, after which they both start eating food. Then we see Sin, who has come to a library. Sin wanted to find out more about this kingdom. In the library, Sin begins to read books so that he learns that this kingdom was created 500 years ago, after which Sean starts to think that this is the time when many players in the game had people out, due to which many people in this world got confused and started considering this incident as a major event. Here we are watching a meeting in the guild where the guildmaster tells everyone that the skull-faced Jack in the forest has been killed and the one who killed him has brought a jam with him. After checking the jam, it turns out that the skull-faced Jack is 359 levels, after which a knight asks the guildmaster that whoever defeated the skull-face did not collect the sword armor, to which Als tells the knight that the slayer did not find the weapon and armor special, which is why he did not collect them all. After which an old man tells that the people who have the letter of investigation are very strange, after which the guild master tells everyone that there can be more skull-face monsters in the forest. Then the knight tells that the level of this monster was very high, and it was the level of the king, so we should go to the forest and find out all of them, to which a lady would tell them that she had already sent some people to find out about this. Then Guildmaster Varley explains that the skull-face monsters are active at night, so everyone will have to be a little careful at night. He then asks Knight Varley about the Slayer, who has defeated that skull-faced Jack. To which Varley says, "I can't tell you anything about that person, because he doesn't want anyone to know about it." The knight asks why you want to know about the person to whom the knight tells that a sword fell in the castle that day, and Skullface was also defeated that day, so everyone thinks that these two things will be related. Varley then asks the knight about the sword, to which the knight explains that the sword was made of light magic and is as strong as the divine sword of our nation. After listening to which Varley says that if the sword is so strong, it means that the sword will be with Skullface Jack, so perhaps it can also be a legendary sword. Then the knight explains that, "So I want to know about the human who defeated the monster who had a legendary sword." Here we see Sin, who is eating the dumpling after collecting the information. Then there is a little girl looking at Sin, after which Sin gives him the dumpling too. Then Sin starts to see the girl who looks like a beast human. Sin seems to think that maybe it's lost. The girl then tells Sin her name, and Sin tells her his name. Sin tells Mail that now he is going to his house, and he asks Mail where your house is. Then a man comes there, and Mail tells Mail that this man has come to pick me up. Then Sean sees that he has come there and goes to Mademoiselle Eves. Sin asks Eves if Mademoiselle is his daughter, to which Eves says that Mademoiselle lives in an orphanage, but she comes to walk out of the orphanage every time, and I come to look for her. Avi then tells Sin that Melee is a very Psy type. That's why she doesn't go to any person quickly, but she likes you, and I am a little surprised to see this. After this, both of them were about to leave from there, only then Mail comes near Sin. She asks Sin to rescue a fox that was trapped in the forest. Sean is surprised to hear her. Then Sean begins to remember Miley's words at night about why Miley asked him to do this job. After which Sean starts thinking that tomorrow he will also go to meet Tiara because he has not gone to meet her for a long time. The next day, Sin approaches Tiara and shows her the Riser's sword to Tiara's surprise, and begins to think that this is the Swordmaster's. Then he starts walking away. Then Sin starts to feel something different in the forest, and as soon as he goes inside, Sin hears voices in the forest, and she is telling all the Sin to go out, but Sin starts to go further inside the forest, so that he comes to a temple inside the mountain where there is a statue of Fox. And as soon as Sean goes inside a house, he sees a small fox there. Sean sees that the curse power has been used on that fox, then Sean removes that curse using his magic. But then the scene begins to feel that many monsters are coming here. Sean sees that there are many skull-face monsters here, but Sean destroys them all. Then Sean checks again and realizes that the two monsters are still in his vicinity, but I can't see the scene. Then two foxes come out of the statue of that fox and turn into a very big beast. Their levels are very high, but the scene beats both of them. After that, Sean thinks about keeping that little fox with him, and they both go back to the kingdom. Here we see the Riser who has received a message, and after reading that message, the Riser gets to know that his master is back. We see Sean, who is rescuing that spirit fox and bringing it out of the forest. Sin starts to think that there were a lot of skull-face monsters out there that I should give the guild reports about, and he can't tell anyone about that sprit. Then Sin asks the fox if you want to be Tim with me, on which the fox is considered. After that, Sin becomes tempted with that fox and makes a partner contract as if he is now the owner of that fox. Then Sun starts thinking that he should have a good name for this spirit fox, and then Sun names that fox as Yuha, and I love that name too. After that, Sean gets a message from Tiara, in which she tells Sin that she has sent Sin's message to the Master, after seeing which Sean starts thinking that I am not able to believe that Tiara's message reached the Riser. Because when he tried to send a message, he failed many times. Then Sean comes back to report to the guild. And there's Celica and her twin sister. She asks for a report from both the scenes, on which Sun starts thinking who to give the report to. Due to the report, Celica and her sister get into a fight, and at last, Sean gives the report to Celica. He tells Celica that he has seen a lot of curse monsters in the forest. Then he asks them about the next quiz. To which Celica tells Sin that you can see the quest for yourself on the board, after which Sin sees the notice on the board. And there is a quest in it from the church side. Seeing which Sin feels that this is perhaps a special quiz. Sin then remembers that Mail also lives in the church and the Phoenix, and that she had asked Sin to save Juha. After which, Sin takes the quest and comes to the church to meet Mail. Where Sin finds a nun, he asks Sin if you are here for a quiz, to which Sean tells that he has come here to find out about the job quest. He then asks the nun if there is a beast girl named Mail, to which the nun asks Sean, what do you have to do with him? Sen then tells the nun that Meili had asked him to do a task, and he has come here to complete that task. After which the nun calls Mail there, and Mail is very happy to see the scene. Seeing this, even the nun could not believe that Sin was a good person. The nun then tells Sean her name is Tia, and Sean then asks Miley if she's the fox you told him to save yesterday. Miley tells Sin that it is the same fox and thanks him. After which Sun tells Juha that you were saved because of dirt, so you should say thank you to him. Then Juha says thank you to Mela, and then begins to ask the nun about Sin Quist, to which the nun tells Sin that you will have common skills. After listening to which Sin starts thinking that it is a common thing for everyone to have a skill in this game, but there are some who have a very rare skill. The nun then asks Sin if you can teach me a skill, after which Sin asks the nun if she wants to learn about healing magic. The nun then tells Sin that she needs to learn about purify magic, to which Sin responds, "That's very magical." The nun is surprised to hear this and asks Sean if you get this magic. Then Sean tells the nun that it is very tough to learn, but it depends on you. After which the nun says to Sean, "Oh, you can reward him for that." But Sean refuses and says that he is not doing all this for the reward, but she has to learn about the power of dirt instead, after hearing which the nun gets a little upset. Then tells the nun that I know you can't trust a stranger like me. That's when Melly says that Sin is a good person, so you can trust him. The nun accepts Meili's point and tells Sin that we are not experts, but we will give you information about Mail. The nun then tells Sin that Meili is a star composer and can see a lot of vision, but all of them are absolutely correct. And hearing this, Sin says that I can see the future. Then the nun tells Sin that this is the region that he must have told you to save this fox, because he must have already seen everything about this fox. After that, Sean says that if people get to know about this power of dirt, they will all use it wrong, to which the nun says that she has already told the authority about this, and the guild has also sent a member here. This is for the safety of all children, and then Sin says that maybe she's a visa. Sin, after that, he tells the nun that he will definitely complete this job quest. Then Sin asks Tia that you have to learn purify magic, to which Tia tells that she has to teach the Grand Doctor of the Magic Preset. Hearing Tia's words, Sin begins to feel that they are all in some trouble. After this, both Sin and Melee come to the orphanage where all the children are playing with Juha. Sin and Mail are both sitting here alone. Then Sin asks Mail why you're not playing with them, to which Mail tells that he has lost to all of them. Only then Juha comes back to Sin. After that, Mail calls Juha to her, and seeing this, Sin understands Mail's plan. Because Mail knows that Juha will go back to Sin, she was already sitting next to Sin. Then Sin looks at all the other children, and they all run away in fear, seeing which Sin does not understand anything. Then a girl comes to Sin and asks him, "Are you going to save us?" Sin then asks the girl what she wants to say. The girl then tells Sin that the priest of this church is no more, so this church and the orphanage are both in danger. Sin says that Tia can also become a priest here, to which the girl tells that the priest can only be people who have the ability to purify magic. And hearing this, Sin understands that Tia must have sent this Job quiz to the guild because she wants to make the priest's granddaughter the next priest. Sin asks the girl about the other priest who is going to come here. The girl tells Sin that the priest is very bad and he only thinks about money, so no one likes him here. Then she comes to Nan Sin, and she sees that all the children are very comfortable with Sin. Nan is very happy to see this. The nun then introduced Sin to Russia, who was to learn purify magic. Russia is a little careless, but it is very hard-working. After that, S comes there and says that you should come here for job cost, but I don't trust him at all. She then tells Terry or Ace that Sin is a good person, so they have given her permission to try this job, and Miley has also said yes to Sin. After which, S asks Mail if you have seen everything, to which I say yes. Then S understands what I mean, and he tells Sin that he is trusting him because of the dirt. Avi then asks Sin about purify magic, to which Sin explains that Russia must first be 150 level to learn that magic. Then she has to destroy all the monsters and absorb their power so that she can learn to purify. Sean tells them that we will also go with Russia and weaken all the monsters, due to which Russia will be able to eliminate all of them easily. He then asks her if she understands, but Rasia does not respond anything, and seeing this, Avi gets angry at her, which scares her. Then in the night, Avi stops Sin and says that he has to talk to Sin, then they go to the cafe. There, Avi asks Sin if you are the Chuj Forest. Then Sin asks Avi about it, and Avi tells Sin that Choose One has a lot of power and information. Choose One has a lot of information related to rare items and monsters. After listening to which, Sean starts thinking that maybe there has been some change in the system here, due to which people here have been reconnected with a lot of skills and some choose one again. Avi then tells Sin, I trust you because I trust you. My vision is never wrong. Sean then sees that he has received Tiara's message. In that message, Tiara tells Sean that she has sent a message to her master and she will come to meet Sean tomorrow. Then Tiara would tell Sean that my master asked some questions about you, so that she is asking about you so excitedly. After that, Sean gets the letter of the Moon Century. Seeing which Eves also takes out his letter, it is also the same as that letter. Then they both touch their letter so that they can know whether it is real or fake. Seeing this letter, S understands that Sin is not an ordinary person. The next day, Sin, Russia, and Avis go to the forest to fight the monster so that they can level up all of Russia. Together, Sin and Ace defeat a lot of monsters. Russia then destroys all of those monsters and absorbs their supposed power so that her power can increase. Then they all see a barrier next to which S tells that this barrier must have been made by the guilds, so that no ordinary person can enter it. Then S takes out a card from him so that he opens the door of the barrier, and all go inside that barrier, and after finishing all of them, Russia starts absorbing their mana. That's when Avis brings a monster to them. Russia is afraid to see. Next, we see Lady Ryan fighting the monster in the same forest. There are also royal guards with him. Lady Rin is using the sword that Sin threw into her castle. Then the royal guard tells Lady Ryan that our second group is in trouble, so we should go to them. Just then, a girl comes to Ryan and tells him that she will go and save the other group. That girl is a Razor, and then we saw the second group in which a lot of guards were injured. All of them are going to be attacked by a skull-face monster. But then, the Riser comes there and destroys the monster. All the guards are shocked to see that Riser eliminated the monster so easily. We see the Riser that saves all the guards and heals them. Then the leader of the guards thanks the Riser for helping them. He tells the Riser that if you had not helped us today, we would all be dead today. Riser then tells them that she was able to defeat the monster because they all weakened the monster by fighting it. Riza then leaves to find Sin. Here we see the Sin that accompanies Avis and Russia. Avis uses his powers to defeat the skull-face monster. He then asks Russia to destroy the monster, after which Rasia goes to that monster and uses her magic on it so that that monster starts disappearing, and only then the light starts coming out of Rasia's body. Seeing them, Avis and Rasia start panicking. Sean then tells them that Rasia has activated her new skill, so there is nothing to fear. S then asks Rasia if she is okay, to which Rasia says that she is okay and that she has found out about using new magic. Then the sun congrats Russia for its success, to which Rasia tells that now she can do something for her orphanage. Just then, Sean looks up and sees a magic circle in the sky. They are all amazed to see the magic. Then Sean tells them that this magic power belongs to the undead monsters, after which the magic is completely absorbed and turns into a large skull face monster. The level of that monster is 804, and its name is Skull Face Load. Only then all the skull face monsters start coming there. Russia sees the giant skull face and tells him that this monster alone can destroy the entire kingdom. So she asks Sun if the barrier will be able to stop this monitor, after which the skull face monster goes to the sky and attacks the barrier and breaks it. Then Sean tells that it broke the barrier in a single attack, so it is going to be very difficult to defeat it. And the skull face monster starts looking at all of them, after which AV asks Sin to run away from there. But there, the whole army of Skullface Monster comes and surrounds them from all sides, after which Sean tells Avis and Rusha to leave from here. But S does not believe, and says that he will not leave here, leaving her in danger. Then Sen explains to Eves that nothing will happen to him. Sin shows his power to Eves, who is shocked and asks Sin who he is. After which Sean gives Eves some of his power so that he can get out of here quickly. Then Evi accepts Sun's point, and tells him that you are going to tell me everything later. Sen also accepts S's point, and then S tries to remove Juha from Sean's head, but Juha is not leaving the scene, which Sean understands. She wants to be with him. Sun then uses his power to attack the monster, paving the way for Ace to escape. Then Avis takes Russia and runs away from here at great speed. After that, Sun starts fighting all those monsters, and here Riser is also watching all of them from a distance. After which he starts going faster, and here Sin also starts thinking that if Riser was with them, he would have defeated all of them very easily. Then Sin escapes from all those monsters and comes to a flower garden, where there are many flowers. Only then does the scene appear there, and as soon as the scene is going to meet him, that's when he sees a lot of skull-face monsters come around him. Seeing this, Yua builds a barrier there so that she cannot come to Monster Sin. And here's the Riser scene, and the scene is a little funny. Sean then apologizes to Riser for taking too long to arrive, but Riser doesn't listen to Sean, and he says you're wrong, after which Sin begins to remember what he used to say whenever he came to the Riser's house. Then Sin tells Riser that I'm back, and I'm glad to hear that. That's when the barrier breaks and Sin's jaw is tired too. After that, Sean tells Riser that we have to kill this monster as soon as possible, so we have to use our power. The Riser scene is understood. Then they both use their powers so that a big magic circle is formed in the sky. Because of that circle, all the skull-face monsters start to disappear. Then Sean defeats the giant monster with the help of his sword, but Sean is shocked that he is saying something while the monster is dying. After that, Sin picks up the monster's castle and thinks that he will be able to get more clues from it. The Riser then tells Sin that this place will be the same as before. You don't need to worry about this. After that, Sin tells Riser that we have met after a long time, so we should sit and talk. The Riser understands the scene, and then they both sit on the wall of a castle far away in the forest and start talking. Sean tells Riser how he defeated one of the demons inside this game, and after that everyone was able to get people out of the game. But he himself went into this game, after which he came to know that he has come 500 years ahead in the game. Then Riser would tell Sin that after all the people were out, the dungeons also began to disappear. So all of us who have no character in this game, one vote, all went separately to find their own master. And the Riser also tried hard to find the scene, but he could not find the scene. That's why she went back to the scene shop. Then she decided that she would manage this shop, so that if Sin comes back here in the future, she will be able to meet him. Sin says thank you to Riser for looking at his shop. Sin then asks Riser if she can stop calling him Master. Riser starts asking Sin the region behind it, to which Sin says that you are very popular here, so I don't want people to know that I am your master. Because that's what I'm going to do. Riser understands Sin's point and asks her what I can call you, to which Sin says that she can call him Sin. After which the Riser calls Sin by his name 1, and after hearing this, Sin becomes a little shady. because when she heard her name from the Riser, she looked very cute. Riser then asks Sin what he's going to do next, to which Sin explains that he will first go to the Holy Land, which he has read about in the library of the kingdom. Sin asks Riser if she's been to that place, on which the Riser says that yes, I have gone to that place, but she has not been there much, so she does not have full information about that place. After listening to which Sean starts thinking that he will have to see the Holy Land himself. The Riser then asks Sean if you will go back to your home if you can find your way back, to which Sean tells that if he finds the way, he will go back to his home. Hearing this, the Riser becomes a little sad, and she tells Sin that I already know this. Then Sin asks Riser how much you will remember about this world. Riser explains that she remembers everything about this world since she started living here with Sin, and I'll never forget the memories. But Riser knew that if all the people in the game were eliminated, they would all disappear. The Riser then begins to ask Sin about his promise. Does he remember? To which Sin says that he remembers his promise. It's just morning. Then Sin tells Riser that we should go back to our shop and have a party. The Riser is happy to hear this. Then she looks at Yuha and asks Sin about her. After which Sin tells Riser that I found it in the forest, and this is a spirit fox. Sean explains that he has made a partner contract with her, which is why he is with her. Then the Riser tells the scene. That is an elemental. And Sin is surprised to hear this, and Sin asks Riser how you found out about this, on which the Riser tells the scene that you can find out by looking at its tail. Then he looked up and saw Sun Juha. So it's surprising, because there are 3 tails. Yuha then starts talking to Sin and after hearing her voice, and he's even more surprised. Then Sin asks Yuha how you are able to speak, at which Yuha would tell Sin that her power had evolved during the night. After which Sin asks Juha if you can make your tail the same as before. Then Yuha gets her tail back to normal, and Sin tells him that you just talked to me in your mind. Because Sin Yu did not want anyone to know about Ha's power, you accept the scene, and then he sits on her head. Riser finds Yuha very cute, and after that he is being seen by her. Then Sin tells the Riser that you can catch it, and then Riser catches up with Yuha and starts making love. Riser then tells Sin that it is impossible to tempt Annie's mental spirit in this way. After which Sin asks him that you are not surprised how I have this spirit force after all, to which Riser tells Sean that you are already very strong, and I know all about your power, so I know you can comfortably tempt this spit fox. Then they'd all head home. Here we see S, which is running away very fast, taking Russia with it. Russia asks Eves about Sin and whether he will be okay, on which Eves tells that Sin's power layer is very strong, so nothing will happen to him because he has felt Sin's real power. Then he feels something behind him, and tells Russia that someone is coming towards us at a very high speed. Hearing this, Rasia starts panicking and asks Avi if the monster is still behind us. Just then, from the sky, Sin and Riser arrive, and Avis and Rasia are very surprised to see them. After this, we see some royal guards who have come to check the place, where Sin had defeated the Scale-Face Lord and his army. Then Lady Leon came there and looked at the place and said, "Who would be so strong who made this place such a situation?" Because at night, they had seen all the monsters disappear by some magic. Just then, a guard comes to them and shows Sean's sword to Lady Lion, with which he defeated the Skull-Face monster. The guard shows a path made under the sword on which the symbol of a bird is made. He then tells Lady Leon that although the sword is broken, it still has a lot of power, after which he hits the sword on the ground, causing a crack in the ground. Everyone is surprised to see this, and the guard tells that whoever uses this sword will be very strong, because only a blacksmith can make such a sword. Then Lady Ryan begins to ask about the blacksmith. The guard explains that the blacksmith will be a high human, because the power in this sword can only be controlled by a high human, after which Ryan says that he has to meet the high human, at which the guard asks Ryan why you want to meet the high human. Then Ryan tells me that I have to fight him, and if it's strong anyway, I'll have no problem marrying him. After this, we see S, who asks Sean to explain everything to him. S tells Sean that Riser does not bow down to anyone, so you tell me all your truth. Sean tells Evie that the Skullface Lord was defeated by Riser. After hearing this, Ace puts his weapon on Sin's neck. He tells Sin that you are lying because I have seen your power, so you tell the truth. Sin then tells Ace that he is a high human, and Riser explains that Sin is his master. After which Sin asks S if there will still be some records about the high humans. On which S tells that high humans are very strong just like you, and they have a lot of belief in them. Even people here consider the high human as God because he can do everything with his own power. After hearing this, Sean starts thinking that this is a very headache. Sean then apologizes to Evie for hiding his truth from everyone. Sean then reveals that he is Black Smith and tells Evie that I will fix your venom, to which Ace refuses and tells Sean that I am not going to give my weapon to a merchant like you. After that, Rasia also wakes up and asks Sean if you are okay. The scene on which he says that he is absolutely fine. Then she looks at the Riser and asks who it is. The Riser then tells Rasia his name. And then he apologizes to Russia, because it's all because of him. And he was the one who used his magic on Ace so that Ace's speed increased and Russia got sick. Then S tells Sin that we will go separate ways after reaching Gate. Because your job was to make Russia acquire skills, which has now been completed, so the matter of the church can now be seen by us. Then they all reach the gate of the kingdom and give that letter to Sineves so that you can send your message to anyone. Sean then tells AV that if you need my help, you can use this letter to inform me, to which AV tells Sean that if the situation becomes very bad, I will call you. After listening to which Sean starts thinking that Avis does not want to involve me in any situation. After which Sin gives the letter to S and tells him that I want to be involved in all this, because if I don't help my friends, I won't sleep through the night. AV then takes Sin's letter and starts to leave. Here Riser also sees all this and starts thinking that Sin has still not changed, and he always helps everyone. After that, they all come back to Moon Century, where Tiara is happy to see the Riser. Then she would see Sin there and ask what you two were doing together. Riser tells Tiara that it is a long story, so we'll talk about that over dinner. Riser then tells Tiara about the scene, that this is the real owner of the shop and at the same time my master. Tiara is very surprised to hear this, and Sean asks him what's surprising about it, on which Tiara tells that the owner of the shop is a legend high human. That's you. And how could she not be surprised? Tiara then begins to apologize to Sin because he had behaved very rudely with Sin. Sin forgives Tiara and tells her about Yuha, which is a sprit fox. Tiara is very surprised to see that Yuha is talking. After that, they all start having dinner, where they are all very surprised to see the food. Kyunki Riser had a very good dinner for everyone today, and Tiara says that a different taste is coming in this meal. After which Sean tells that I am also feeling something similar, and all this food is made of a very rare ingredient that was found after eliminating a lot of monsters. Hearing this, Tiara would tell that we should not have used so many rare ingredients, because they're so hard to find. Then Sean begins to ask about Riser's aura, on which the Riser tells that this aura comes from inside the monster. You will feel this aura strong monster and some beasts from inside which are very strong. After that, they all start eating and they like to eat very much. Then the scene starts asking the Riser about all the other support characters. Riser explains that we all tried very hard to find you, but I was sure you would be fine. That's why we stopped looking for you and started waiting for you. To which Sin tells Riser that you did the right thing. I didn't want everyone to waste their time trying to find me. After that, Sean sees Tiara, who was now drunk. Then he asks Riser if Tiara is not able to control alcohol. The Riser then starts taking Tiara to her room, and here Sean also comes to rest in his room. After that, Sean changes his clothes and goes to sleep. Just then, his sleep opens up, after which Sean sees the Riser near him, and it's very surprising to see. Then the scene sees that the tears are not coming out of the eyes of the Riser, and she's talking master in her sleep. After listening to this, Sin starts to feel very bad and thinks that perhaps Riser was very upset for him. Then in the morning when Sin wakes up, he sees that the Riser is not there, after which the scene sees silver hair there, and he realizes that this Yuha spirit fox has now turned into a human. This scene is very enchanting. He then gives Yuha some clothes to wear, after which they both come down, and Riser also becomes very happy to see Yuha in human form. Sean asks Yuha what she was doing in the house at the time, and if she knows anything about the pattern there. Then she says she doesn't know anything about that pattern. And she would say that one day there was an earthquake, so that there was a lot of destruction around. He tried very hard to stop him. After hearing this, Sean begins to think that Yuha might have stopped the earthquake with his own power. Then Yuha would tell that she was very tired after that incident, due to which she went inside that house to rest. But she became very ill inside him, and when he was about to die, Sin came there and saved him from death. After which Sin tells Yuha that you are alive here because of the fair, so you should say thank you to him. Yuha asks Sean when we are going to meet Melee again, to which Sean explains that we will soon be going to the church to meet S and everyone else. Sin tells Riser that he wants to make some swords so that he can sell them in town. Riser also accepts the point of Sin. Then she tells Sean that you have to go and meet someone soon. Sean asks Riser who I'm going to meet, on which the Riser says that you have to meet the Great. Sean is shocked to hear this and asks him if Great is still alive, because he is a high-level beast whose life is more than 150 years, and I have come here after 500 years, so how can he survive? To which Riser points out that Great is not dead yet, he's stalking you. Riser then asks Sin if he knows about the Beast King. Sean explains that the Great did a lot of beasts together and formed an alliance. The Great One was the first Beast King. Riser then reveals that the Beast King is now Earth. But he's a great fighter, and the Great Ruler is also waiting to meet you. After listening to which Sean says that he will definitely go to meet the Great, he then tells everyone that we should all go there and Ryjar accepts Sen's point. Tiara then asks if she has to stay at the shop, to which the Riser says that you are going to walk with us, after listening to which Tiara asks the Riser, then who is going to take care of this shop? To which Riser points out that Sin is now back, so we shouldn't think about it. Sin explains that he can take the store with him, so there is no need for them to take tension and tell Tiara that the curse on you has also been removed. Now you can travel with us. You will also enjoy seeing the outside world. Tiara accepts Sean's point, and then Sean tells her that he is going to make some swords. Riser tells Sean that I'm going to the kingdom to report on the face monster. Then Sean tells that he is going to go to the guild after making the sword because he has to complete some quizzes. Riser asks Sean where we'll meet, to which Sin says that I will tell you with a message card. Then the Riser asks the scene to create a system so that they can all chat. Sin looks into his system and creates a system so that they can all voice chat with each other. Riser tells Tiara that you should also go to the guild and register your name. Tiara understands the Riser. Then Sean says we'll all go to the guild together. Tiara then tells him that he has to change his clothes, and after that they will all go to the guild. Here, Sin comes to the blacksmith's room to make a sword with Yuha, where there are many weapons. And Sin tells Yuha not to touch the weapons. After that, Sean starts making the sword, and he sees that he has made the sword a little stronger. Yuha then asks Sin if he has failed to make a sword, to which Sin says that he has not failed, but he has made a sword from which no one can escape. Then Sin makes a lot of swords. Just then, Tiara also comes there by changing her clothes. Tiara was very happy that she would go out for a walk after so many years. Sin tells Tiara that you are going out after 100 years, so you are getting excited. After that, they both come out of the house and Sin starts looking at Tiara's chest. Then as soon as Tiara looks at Sin, he turns his face to the side of Sharma. But everyone knows everything, and he is shocked to know this. Tiara then tells Sean that all the stuff is going to be picked up by you now, and Sin asks him the reason for this. To which Tiara says that you have seen a woman's chest, so you are getting this punishment. Sin apologizes to Tiara for his mistake. Then we see that both Sin and Tiara have arrived in town. Tiara is very happy to see the city, because it was the first time she'd ever been there. Then Sin tells Tiara that you are very excited, so don't get lost here. To which Tiara tells that she is not too excited, so she is not going to lose. Then Sin tells Tiara that we can walk around this town after completing our work, after hearing which Tiara becomes happy and starts to take Sin to the guild. Sin asks Tiara if she knows the way to the guild. After which, Tiara remembers that she has come to this town for the first time, so how can she know about the guild here? Then Sin T starts to take Yara. Then after reaching the guild, Celica gives Sin her E-rank card. After seeing which, Sin asks Celica why her rank has increased if she has not yet completed the quest. To which Celica tells Sean that the level of Skullface you defeated was high and the number of Skullfaces you eliminated in the jungle and reported to us. So we went there and checked, and we found out that you are telling the truth. That's why we are increasing your rank by promoting. Then Celica tells Sin that you should have been given a rank, but we are promoting you to E rank. After listening to which, Sin understands and tells that if I am given such an A-rank adventure card, then all the adventures will start doubting me, and maybe my truth will come out in front of them. Celica then asks Sean about Tiara and who she is, and what's your relationship with her. On which Sin tells that its name is Tiara, and we have come here to register its name for adventure. After which Celica asks Sin if he is your lover. After hearing this, the scene becomes shocking. Tiara explains that there is no such thing. Then Celica tells Sin that you were walking holding the hand of this beautiful woman, so everyone is considering both of you as lovers. Then Sean asks Celica about the Holy Land, to which Celica explains that information about the Holy Land is only given to those with B rank or above, so I can't help you. Sin tells Celica that I'm leaving, so can there be a quiz for me? After which Celica checks and tells Sin that there is a quiz for you, and you have to join 2 more people, because they are also going for this quiz. Sin agrees to the quest and asks Tiara if she will go on the quest. Tiara also accepts Sin's point. Then Celica tells that for the friend you can leave from here after 1 o'clock. After which both Sin and Tiara go out for a walk in the town, and both of them enjoy a lot by walking around the whole town there. Sean then goes to the church with Tiara, where he finds Russia. Rasia asks Sean who this girl is, to which Tiara tells him her name and says that I have come from Moon Century. While listening to this, Rasia asks Tiara about Ra Eager. Do you know her? To which Tiara says that she is my master. And after hearing this, Rasia becomes even more excited and starts questioning her. Here Meili also gets very excited to meet Juha and tells Sin that our church is not going to go anywhere anymore. After which Rasia thanks Sin and says that because of you I got that skill and I became the priest of the church here. Then Sin asks him where S is at the moment. At this, the nun tells that S has gone to see the priest, because he still thinks that the priest is probably going to do something bad. To which Sean explains that we don't know anything about that priest, so that can't happen. The nun is terrified that something bad will happen. After that, the scene gives them some charm, and they say it's all magic, which will protect you. Rasia and the nun thank Sin for the present. Just then, a lot of children come in the room. They all come here to meet Sin. And on the other side, the Tiara also comes into the room. Tiara was also surrounded by a lot of children. Then when Sin and Tiara start to go back, the nun apologizes to Tiara that she was harassed by the children. To which Tiara says that she enjoyed playing with them very much and they are all very cute. Tiara then receives an adventure card from the guild. Sun then tells Tiara that we should take our home with us. Sin shows the Tiara a stone and explains that it is a teleportation stone, with the help of which we can move from one place to another. Tiara would ask Sean that it takes a lot of magic power to make such things, and how do you know about this magic? Because that magic is completely gone. On which Sin tells that he has to create this magic. Hearing this, Tiara tells Sin that you are a legend high human, so you know about that. After that, Sean uses the stone, and they both teleport from the town and come directly to the Moon Century. Then Sean turns his house into a pendant with his magic. What will happen next? Will Sean go to meet the Beast Kings? If he does, what kind of beasts will he encounter there? And will he be able to reach the Holy Land? Will he, like Razor, find his own and other supporting characters? Watching all this will be on a whole different level, but unfortunately for now, this explanation ends here. What's next in the story? In the next part, stay tuned, because the real fun is yet to come. And hey, I have a small request for you at the end of the video. Please support our new channel. Right now, we really need even the smallest support from you, so don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Also, make sure to share it with your friends who love stories. And lastly, do leave a comment letting us know how you liked the story, and if you felt there was any room for improvement, please tell us so I can work on it. Okay, bye, and take care.